Hello, this video is about a very enjoyable rainy day project that you can do to help optimize the clean sound of your Fender Stratocaster. And what I'm talking to you about today is the Alembic Stratoblaster Preamp. Alembic has made these for a long time. Jerry Garcia used this in his Stratocaster on the Europe 72 record. And for years, that has been my favorite Stratocaster tone. And a big ingredient of that was the Alembic preamp, which is going to install where your guitar's output jack is. And you don't even have to route your guitar body for a battery because the battery will fit into the existing routing cavities of your Stratocaster. And the instructions, they are very well written by Alembic. I give these guys 10 out of 10 for making this easy to install, but I'm doing this video just to let you know how fun this can be. And even if you don't do wiring yourself, you can do this modification with confidence. And that's the purpose of this video. Let's get started. I'm going to follow the instruction sheet, and the first thing is to place your guitar on its back with the neck going to the right so that everything is close to you and convenient. And the first step will be to, I already loosened the screws on this, but we're going to cut the output jack wires so that the Stratoblaster can connect to them. And we'll put that. The next step, now that all the proper screws have been taken out, we're going to take the tone control and lift up the pick guard. And there's going to be the black ground wire going to the bridge. And don't touch that one, but we're going to need to pull these two wires through the cavity, and then we're going to cut them off so that we can make room for the Stratoblaster wires. Now, the next step is the wires that are going to the volume control, those need to get trimmed, and you need to double check to make sure that that truly is going to the volume control right close to the bridge. And those wires need to get trimmed to about 3 inches. And then the instructions are to strip off about 3/8 of an inch. And you don't want to have too much exposed, because then when all the wires get crowded together, then you would get problems. So don't take off too much thinking that you're giving yourself any slack. You don't want to expose. So I measured off a little bit more than 3 inches. And then you really don't need much to get these connections made within the wiring clips, or if you're soldering it. Just going to strip off about 3/8 of an inch on each of these, the black lead and the white lead. And I'm glad I left it a little bit long on that one, because I made a mistake. So, all right, so these are ready to make the connections with the wire. All right, now we can get more to the fun part and get out the new stuff. So first, here's the blaster unit. And here is the battery connector clip along with the wire clips. So we are now ready All right, here's the magic piece right here. And what I'm going to recommend is, in order to feed these 3 wires through the wiring hole that's drilled in the Stratocaster, I taped these 3 wires together just using Scotch tape. You could use electric tape too. Alembic recommends that you shield the inside of your guitar body with copper foil or silver paint. And I saw a YouTube video where a guy kind of disproved that. And with my first installation on the Wayne's World Strat, I did not shield it, and I'm not having any problem with extra noise. So that's up to you. If you want to shield your guitar, shield it. I'm going to try not shielding it, and if I get problems, I'll just go back in and do it some other time, and I'll shield it. Make note that I Scotch taped the 3 wires together, and we're focused on the output jack cavity. And first thing we do, feed that baby on through. Be patient with yourself. It'll take a few tries. And also too, if you're using the wire clips, those connections can come loose while you're trying to do the assembly, so just be patient with yourself. It'll come out okay, even if you don't get it on the first try. All right, so that made it through. Like I said, be patient with yourself. And, okay. And see how, and you want to have the switch closest to the bridge and the output jack. Like that. Okay, I just, after getting the wires fed through, I just gently pressed the blaster down onto the output jack cavity. And our next step is to just gently replace the output jack screws. And be advised that these may not fit perfectly with your Stratocaster. Both of my Stratocasters are made in Japan, and so I don't expect those to have the exact marking or the exact same measurements as an American-made Strat. So your results may vary. I want to hand it to Alembic because, or I want to thank my previous guitar techs, because the colors of all these wires match up precisely with Alembic's instructions, and I sure hope that happens for you. But the first of these 3 connections that are going to be made, we're going to do the red wires. So this is the battery clip for the 9-volt battery that's going to sit right here inside the Stratocaster cavity, and we're going to connect red to red. Now, because of the good experience I had with the Wayne's World Strat, I'm going with wire clips again. And I'm a real klutz with the soldering iron anyway, so I'm kind of glad that things can work out this way. Get those 2 matched up together. And don't get anxious or upset if they happen to come loose when you're jockeying all the parts around. Just be patient with yourself on that, because you only need to get this right once, but once you do it, it is so worth it. So, okay, there are the red ones. Let's do the, okay, the next connection will be white to white. White wire from the blaster and white wire from the original guitar wiring. Okay, the third and final connections are made between 3 black wires. There's a black wire coming from the battery clip. There's a black wire coming from the blaster that you fed through the hole. And then there's the black connection from the original wiring of the pickguard. Okay, in the interest of saving you time, here we go. I finally got those 3 pinched together, and looks like the clip's holding okay. And now this is going to be the time for getting the battery into the cavity. And I've got an idea for you where you can improve on what Alembic did, okay? This is one thing where I'm going to deviate from the instructions. Okay, just to review, so we've got the red connected to the red. We've got the 3 black leads connected together, and we've got the 2 white leads connected together. Now it's time to put the battery into the cavity. And Alembic is going to recommend that you take a piece of foam and you place the foam over the tone controls, and then you visually match it up so that you use the guitar's wiring to press down on the battery. But I've got an even better idea. Let's take a look at that. All right, so I'm breaking with the Alembic tradition by not shielding my guitar cavity. But here's another way. I'm gonna put Velcro where I want that battery to be. And I'm gonna trim off some Velcro. And put it on the battery and then pop it in like that. See? Okay, got the Velcro fastened to the battery. And this is where we need to be very gentle. And definitely position these wires so that it works with the way that they're curled. You don't want to be fighting against the physics of these coiled wires. Make sure that they're laying the way that they want to lay. And here's the battery connection. And this is like your stomp boxes. You got to unplug them when you're not using them so that the battery lasts long. And the quality of the battery clip is decent. Okay, and the way that this is laying in here, I think the first way I'm going to try is going in like that, because you want to go with the curl of the wires so that they're not all fighting against each other, because that's how you'll get your connections loose. Okay, I strongly recommend using my Velcro idea for the battery, because that baby's in there pretty good. And well, it's in there better than the way Alembic is doing it, frankly. And so the next thing then would just be to gently get that pickguard flipped over. And this thing's ready to let's just get it gently back into position. And here you're just making sure that you're not pressing against your wiring connections, and get all that stuff tucked in there. And this one seems to be going in pretty good. All right, so, and your results may vary and it may take more than one try. Okay, I'm taking one last peek with the flashlight, and those wire clips are holding good. So I'm gonna put all the screws back on, and we're gonna put on one guitar string to test the signal through the amp, just to make sure that we've got the wiring connections right before we put all the strings back on. You might thank yourself for only doing one string, because then you gotta go back in there and make the new connections. The moment of truth. Okay. I'm getting signal. Signs of life. The connections are good. Okay, all the strings are back on. This thing's working. So let's do a quick demo, all right? So, I mean, your own rig is gonna be different. This is what my Strat sounds like without any of my pedals turned on. Turn on the blaster. Hear that? So, blaster off, blaster on, blaster off, blaster on. All right, so this will get more signal into your situation from the source of the signal. This is an easy mod to do. It's fun. You'll get more sparkle out of that Stratocaster. All right, thanks for watching.